Hello and welcome to this little addition I've done for the low poly business people. Now, as I continue to work on these character packs, I'm looking to improve their shaders and overall appearance. I was trying a few things like making the meshes go kind of puffier and things on these low poly ones, but I ran into an issue where because the meshes are like faceted, so the shading looks kind of planar, it somehow separates the verts and treats them like their own individual polys. Now I found a little workaround at a cost. So what you do is you go to the mesh, and instead of like the imported normals, just choose calculate and do something like 90. Anything above 90 just means everything's getting that rounded look. Okay, and then you would apply that. And you can see I've already done it for the male characters here, so I'm just going to do it for the female mesh. So this is the actual imported mesh. So I'm just going to change this to calculate, angle weighted is fine, and 90, anything above 90, and apply. I wonder if tangents might have something to do with it. Maybe calculate split tangents might have an effect. It'd be good to get it back, you know, to the flat look, and also have these tangents, you know, these points welded together. So maybe I can try a few of these. Calculate legacy. Nope. Split tangents. No. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to get what I want here, but that's fine. So I'll just show you what I managed to do. So calculate 90 and apply. Right, so it has made the meshes smoother looking. So when I run the game here, you see some randomized version, and we get this kind of cartoony sort of look, which is nice, I guess. So we're going to change the material up a bit. So I've added a couple of little things to the material, and I might even change it so you can improve the overall lighting. So I've got an outline width and this ability to push the mesh. So you can see that we can make our little dudes a little bit chunkier. Press space all the same to, I need the play window, game window. Where's the game window? What's the game window? Maybe it's in the second monitor here. Let's check that. So, nope. Let me stop that. Where's the game window? Ah, it's here. Hiding. Right. And put that there. So as I play this, and you can still cycle through the characters, and I think it's nice because it gives you the option now to give things a different look. You can change the outline colour in case you want someone to be kind of a little bit lighter. The emissive value of the characters as well. So this outline width and also the push mesh kind of makes them kind of chunkier. You can see it distorts their fingers up a bit, so you have to be careful with it. But I think that's a pretty nice look. Now, I've made this shader adjustment using Amplify Shader Editor, so if you've got that, then you can see how I've constructed this. I've got something pushing the mesh and adding to the outline node, and that all basically just goes into local vertex offset. I don't have to define the color because inherently this gives me the color option. Let me just reorder a few things here. Material properties, I want the outline width to be up here, this to be called main texture. Right, and if I want to adjust the lighting, I can do something like so we can get the light direction, workspace light direction, and I get the normal direction, so vertex normal, and if I dot product these together, what that gives me is it gives me a kind of a fall off based on the light, the actual light direction, and it is the most dominant light that it works with, so it won't work with this less intense one, it's going to work with the most intense one. And you can see that when I rotate this in the game, it actually rotates in the shader, so that's quite nice. Now I can see this fall off here, so I'm going to use that and do a bias. Now this is just extra stuff that you don't really have to know for this video, but it will be added to the next update as part of the shader, and then I'm going to continue working on the pack with extra stuff. So you can see with this I can change like the bias and scale, so I'm just going to add a couple of floats here, make these properties. I'll just light bias, let's give it a max of 2, and then this will be a property light scale. Now this graph's similar to shader graph, but I find this has got much more happening with it and it's easier to use in general. So recommend getting this if you want to get into shaders and you don't want to script and learn them that way. This is so much easier. You just plug things into nodes and do some math on them. So if you wanted to do some math, you could do like 2 floats, right, and do 2 times 6, do a multiply and put them together, right, and inside this node is actually the value 12. You know, think of it that way. If I do 3 times 6 inside this node's 18, then you can do something with that, and so on and so forth. So most things work on 0 to 1. Let's see, just bring this up to a point where we can see this kind of doing what I want it to. Might go bigger with the scale. Let's say a max of 5 and set it to 3. A light bias can then, let's go less with a light bias. Let's see, we can go -2. Even more with the scale, let's say up to 10. Right, that gives us a nice clip there. Right, so I can say I can add this to the emissive or something. Let's just do multiply with the original color. Right, and I'm going to add it to the emissive and put that there and see what we get. So I'll just click this and it should update. Okay, so it's very, very bright, so bright. I could do a clamp just to make sure this is 0 to 1 and not something like 10. Right, you can see already the minimum maximum of clamp is set to 0 to 1, so that's good. And that's already reduced a few things, so let me just play it so we can see it a bit better. Okay, I've given us access to those variables there, so I'm just going to go to the main material and play about with those, the light bias and scale. Okay, and that's gave a kind of nice look to things. Just try to think what else I could potentially add to this. So the light is correctly up. Let me just move that round to here. That is quite powerful. So what if I was just to add this into the base, right? So I'm gonna multiply it with the color and add it into the color without the emissive. That'll just go into emissive and this will just be albedo. So it's only boosting the base color. It's a little bit softer, I guess. Right. What else can I do to enhance these? I could add fresnel. Right, and what fresnel does is a kind of this light fall off. I can multiply this with a color. So I'll just do the default black, this fresnel color. Right, and then multiply this with the result here, so multiply that with that, and then put this into the albedo. Also, this can now go in there. Right, these values aren't great, so multiplying by 0 here, that should actually be lerp, right? I like lerps a lot because they keep things intact. Right, so we need to think about this lerp here. We've got 1 and 0, right, values. So that's going to be the control value, goes in there. We got the original color goes into the top one. Don't need that anymore, don't need that for now. And this new value, the fresnel, goes into the bottom one, which is getting lerped by this value. So basically 0 keeps the original and 1 replaces it with this going into B, and then this can go into albedo and multiply emissive this guy, and let's see. Okay, should have access to this, just need to change it to a property. So we get a fresnel color now, and it just enhances the edges. You can see it kind of pushing those edges a bit, and that's another good way to sort of heighten the color of the characters. So emissive, fresnel, outline. We got it all kind of happening here. Push the mesh. They still seem a bit bright, so I'll just change this light, bias and scale. Maybe make this more, maybe darker. Can't really decide. Right, so you now have these extra features built into the shader. At least this is what you're going to get. And if you want it back to normal, just go to your meshes. So change these and do imported, apply. That will give you the faceted look, but then you want to change the, if you've already changed this material, then you want to bring the push mesh back down to 0, right? And when we play that, you'll still get control of the outline width, but you can see it's broken because of the normals of the faces. So you may want to bring that down as well. But you have control of the emissive value and the light scale and light bias. And you should also have control of the fresnel. And you can use that as a kind of outliner. So there you go, directional light. I hope you like this little update, and thanks for watching. Bye.